This one in particular is called Tree Fog. This one over here I did for my grandfather when I was in high school. He has since passed away, and so now it is back at my house. This one here is a bighorn sheep. This is one that I did for my daughter. It's a picture of her horse. And this one is again another wolf picture that I did back in high school. That one is available for purchase. And down here is an oil painting that was done again when I was in high school, and I believe it's a picture from the Florida Everglades. This is a fairly large painting. It's 18 by 24. It's currently in my kitchen, and it's from Georgian Bay. It's some of the rock formations that you find along Georgian Bay in Ontario. This one's currently in my entranceway, and it's a picture of a tree stump that has begun to regenerate and provide life for other living creatures and plants. Here we are at the top of my stairs. I've got 3 pictures here. The bottom one is a river that comes out of Kakabeka Falls in Thunder Bay. That one's fairly large and it's framed. The one above is Lake Superior. And the one above that, this one here is Algoma. I took a train trip in Sault Ste. Marie, and this is the canyon that we stopped at. And I had to go up 50 steps, 50 stairs to get to this vantage point to take this picture. These 3, the top one on the left is another tree stump, which I really like doing. It is showing a lot of different lichen and moss, and was actually selected for the Ontario Society of Artists show this past year. This one over here is a scene that I found in Lake Superior Provincial Park. And this one down here is a scene that I found in Killbear Provincial Park. And here we are now in my studio. My studio is actually the master bedroom of our house. And what I did was basically took out all the furniture for the bedroom and converted it into a painting and art studio. And as you can see right now, the walls are absolutely covered with artwork. Some of it's stuff I did a while ago. Some of it's brand new. These 2 down here are both from Killarney Provincial Park. One is named Killarney Rocks number 1 and Killarney Rocks number 2. I always get confused which is which. So if you're interested, just say, I want the pink one or I want the white one. This painting was done within the last month or so, and it's some grasses that I see across the street from my studio. Obviously I didn't paint them from this vantage point. I went down to the grass and took a bunch of photos and brought it back and did some painting up here. That was in the winter time. These 2 up here were both done during a plein air event in Brantford this past summer. The top one was a scene from the river, and the bottom one is the back parking lot of the Glenhurst Gallery. This picture is on the Red Hill Valley Trail. It was just a bunch of leaves that were lying on the ground, and I thought it was interesting, so I took a few photographs and decided to do a painting. This one here is also fairly recent. It's a smaller one. It's a 16 wide by 12-inch high painting. Up here we have another one of the regeneration series, which is a tree trunk with mushrooms and whatnot growing up from it. Tucked away in the corner here is a scene from Killbear Provincial Park. It's one of the trails that my daughter and I hiked. This painting started off as a plein air painting, and then I brought it back to the studio and finished working on it. It's from the marsh area of Hendry Park at the Royal Botanical Gardens in Hamilton. This one is some mushrooms that I found growing on a log while we were walking Killbear Provincial Park. This little one down here is a pet portrait that I did, and I also do these for other people as well. Up here in the corner, I have two pictures that are fairly similar because they're both from the same area. Both of them from Northern Ontario. The one on the right is just a forest scene, and the one on the left is the similar scene with the an Algonquin wolf in the foreground. The wolf was done in pencil, and the background was done in oil paint. Here on the right is another image of the grasses. Again, I've continued with the same theme, but it has definitely a different feel than the first one that I showed you. On the left is a small plein air painting that I did of a small creek here on the Hamilton Mountain. Up top here is a painting that actually was quite popular on Instagram recently. It's actually leaves that were in my backyard that had started to get some really interesting shapes and colors in them. And I took a few photographs and turned them into a really nice painting. This one here was done a couple years ago. It's another oil painting. It's obviously a picture of a mushroom on the forest floor. And this one here up above is another scene from Thunder Bay, specifically Kakabeka Falls. This would be looking down the river from the falls. This painting is a scene. I was kind of experimenting with this. I wanted to try some different color combinations, trying out how the light is playing on the rocks, that kind of thing. So I think it has a bit of a mysterious feel to it, which is kind of cool. This one here is a very large painting of sunflowers. I've actually got one request for a print of this one. The sunflowers on the top are sort of a newer flower, and the one on the bottom is what happens basically when you leave the flower for a while and it starts to get a little dry and withered. But I think it's cool because it has a lot of character when they get to that point. I actually prefer painting flowers when they get to that point, just because they have a lot more going on that you can put into the composition. And this one here is the very last oil painting that I've done this year. It's been a while. It's been about 3 weeks now since I picked up my brushes. This one I did completely from start to finish while I was at the Hamilton Farmers Market. And again, it is part of the grass series that I've been working on. So I really hope that you enjoyed the tour that I gave you. If you have any questions, definitely send me an email or a message. And I look forward to doing another one of these videos.